Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Good morning, I'm Rachel Dahl in for Sam Shad on Nevada Newsmakers. Today we're visiting with Goichoechea, who's the director of Nevada Department of Agriculture. He's out in Eureka County dealing with flood issues, and so we'll have a good visit with him today on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Win some Leprechaun loot during the $75,000 all-cash Go Green giveaways. More than 150 winners in all. Find your pot of gold with $15,000 in weekly cash giveaways guaranteed. And $25,000 in grand prize giveaways, including a $15,000 cash top prize. It's a good time to win at Tamarack Casino.
Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. It's a 50,000 square foot hardware store and a whole lot more. It's huge, with clothing, power equipment, tools, and of course, hardware. Big R is located on Bering Boulevard in Sparks, next to Smith's and opposite Reed High School. Big R, hardware, and a whole lot more.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
It's a good time to win at Tamarack Casino.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
Good morning, I'm Rachel Dahl in for Sam Shad on Nevada Newsmakers. Today we're talking to Goichoechea, who's the director of Nevada's Department of Agriculture. He was supposed to come on the show last week and got stuck in Eureka. And again, yesterday, the flooding kept him in Eureka. And so we have made use of modern technology. JJ's in Eureka on some high-speed Wi-Fi, and we're going to visit with him about the Department of Ag and what's going on with the flooding and how you're all over the state, basically. So welcome to the show, JJ.
Well, thank you, Rachel, and thank you guys for accommodating us. We did not want to have to push this off one more time. So modern technology, I guess something good did come out of the pandemic.
That's right. So what do you said there's some cows stuck over there, you've got ranchers stranded. So what's going on in your side of the state? And then we'll talk about the whole statewide effort.
Sure. So Eureka County and Lincoln County right now are experiencing some moderate to severe flooding in places. I'm here in Eureka. I'd actually came home for the weekend and then the situation deteriorated. And so I've been in contact with the governor's office multiple times a day and with emergency management, and we're trying to work out, some plans here. And you're right, we have several livestock operators that have been cut off due to major roads being washed out. Some of them are within 72 hours of being out of feed. And so today's efforts are really centered around reconstruction of road crossings, bridges, culverts, that kind of thing. Even though it is still flowing at record highs, we've got a lot of resources in here, and we're hoping to get to those, as well as a mine out here that is in need of some liquid natural gas really bad so they can keep generating power after tomorrow.
Oh, geez.
Down in Lincoln County, there's Echo Reservoirs in a little bit of trouble down there. Hopefully that will continue to hold, but it is close to a breach of that reservoir. And so I've got Doug Ferris, who was with Animal Industry and still is the administrator there. I have him acting as a deputy director. And so I've kind of given Doug the Lincoln County side of things for this week as we try to divide and conquer. And unfortunately, I think it's just the start. I was on the phone with Elko this morning and White Pine, and I think we're going to see a lot more of it across the east.
Yeah, I saw some pictures. Mary Kerner showed some pictures of the snow in White Pine County. It's just incredible how much is over there. You said there's 60 more days of this?
Yeah, so this morning's report from the National Weather Service, they're expecting at least 60 days of this same flow into the Diamond Valley area from the upstream drainages. You know, and the interesting thing about over here, there's 5 different mountain ranges that drain into Diamond Valley. People don't realize that. So we have water that can come from as far away as 30 miles from Tonopah, and it ends up in Diamond Valley, and that snow hasn't even started to move yet.
Jeez. You mentioned Echo Reservoir. That is upstream from which communities in Lincoln County?
That is upstream from Panaca and Caliani.
Okay.
And so those are concerns. They did have some flooding there last week, but that kind of dropped back. But with this weather forecast, we're concerned that what they might see for rain and snow over the next 3 days, we could see increased flows there again. And everybody's really working good together. You know, all the state agencies are working good together. The governor has made it very clear, you know, we're all in this together, this entire state, and it doesn't matter if it's Lincoln or Clark or Washoe or Churchill or Eureka, whatever resources we need, get out there and get on the ground.
Yeah, I saw where he had flown the state one day last week. And so how does that all work? That was a neat thing to see that he had gone out, and there were some really great pictures, and he saw everything.
No, he did. And again, you know, Governor Lombardo has made it a priority to get his eyes on it and get his team in the air when he can, and to look at, you know, what we're looking at and what's coming. And we actually had a cabinet meeting that afternoon, a sub-cabinet meeting of the Natural Resource Group. And we talked a little bit about what he had seen and what's to come. And so I think it really helps to have him with eyes on it and wanting to know, and then to just give his people, just like me, if you need to get out there and in the field where you have more influence, then go do it. And that is, I think it's an asset. I don't know if people around here think it's an asset, but I think it's good that I'm here to help.
It's real impressive. He was in Fallon Saturday night and spoke to a group out there, and it's just really impressive, his involvement in this whole issue and what's going on, and the team of folks that he's got together, you know, you and Senator Settlemeyer at Natural Resources. It's just been really good to watch everyone work together.
And I think that's the key. You know, this morning I can get on the phone and talk to someone at DOT. I can talk to Director Settlemeyer later today at DCNR, and this is what we're seeing. And then, you know, the one guy that is kind of behind the scenes is Tim Robb in that governor's office, and he is doing a wonderful job of keeping us all moving. I don't care if it's 10 o'clock at night or 4 o'clock in the morning. He'll take a phone call or he'll be sending me messages. Hey, look at this. This is where we're going. This is what we're thinking. So it is neat. And everybody is really energized right now. And we're trying to do the right thing. And it would sure be nice to work on some more of our priorities instead of this emergency thing. But we'll get there. We'll get there by June.
Good. All right. So let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about some of the priorities of the Department of Ag. So we'll be back on Nevada Newsmakers in just a minute with JJ Goichoechea.
Love and luck are in the air at Carson Valley Inn. $1,000 winners guaranteed every drawing night. Up to $7,500 every Saturday. And $15,000 in grand prize giveaways Friday, March 31st. It's the Love and Luck giveaways at the Carson Valley Inn.
The Do It Right guys at Nevada Heating have one mission. Your furnace breaks down today? We fix it today. Why freeze for days while your furnace is down when Nevada Heating can get the job done today and you can get warm again? For nearly 50 years, locally owned Nevada Heating has been getting the job done right. Call today at 323-5585 and we'll fix it today. That's 323-5585 or online at nevadaheating.com.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com. Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. It's a 50,000 square foot hardware store and a whole lot more. It's huge, with clothing, power equipment, tools, and of course, hardware. Big R is located on Bering Boulevard in Sparks, next to Smith's and opposite Reed High School. Big R, hardware, and a whole lot more.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
We're back on Nevada Newsmakers with JJ Goichoechea, who is out in Eureka dealing with flood issues over there. JJ, let's switch gears and talk about the priorities going into this new administration out of the Department of Agriculture. What are you guys working on over there?
Sure, Rachel. So one of the big things we're working on, and we're making it a priority, is try to get our in-state meat and poultry inspection program up and running. That was a campaign promise of Governor Lombardo's, and it was something that I think is definitely needed. As a lot of our producers know, and then our consumers as well, we don't have a big processing plant, if you will, in the state of Nevada. So getting USDA inspected products is limited. And we have a lot of producers end up going out of state. They go to Idaho, they go to Utah to get their livestock processed, and then they can bring that back and sell it. So NDA, Nevada Department of Agriculture, we have made it a priority to get this in-state meat and poultry inspection program off the ground. We hit the ground running, and we actually have already submitted regulations to the USDA for them to look at. And so the interesting thing here, we have to meet those same guidelines that a USDA plant would have to meet. So it's going to be very safe. It's going to be very stringent, but it's going to help us because it's local control, and we can go ahead and hire some contract veterinarians and inspectors that'll be in these plants. And this is the local mom and pop plants that a lot of us are used to using for custom exempt meat. And what this will do, then you can sell it in state. So if you have some beef that you want to sell in state, you can have an in-state label put on that, and you can sell it at a grocery store. You can go to our food banks, which we're seeing a bigger demand on over the last couple of years for protein. And so that's one of our big priorities over there right now. And then of course, customer service. We are working really aggressively back towards customer service. We're just like this. I'm out in the field. We want to be engaged with agriculture all across this state. And so we're making that a top priority. We're putting the right people in the right places. And when you call, you're going to get an answer. If you send an email, you're going to get an answer. And we're being more and more receptive. So those are probably our two biggest priorities at the Department of Agriculture for the next 90 days.
Okay, so jumping right in, that's good. I don't think everyone realizes how many things you guys do over there. When I first realized you handle fuel, like I've seen the NDA sticker on the gas pump my whole life, but it never dawned on me. So talk about the different pieces that make up Nevada Department of Agriculture, because you guys do a lot in there.
Sure. So I'll just start with that, with measurement standards. So we do the fuel. We do fuel testing. We test for diesel exhaust fluid. And one interesting thing right now, we're trying to figure out how we're going to test these charging stations for electric vehicles. We've got staff that are out and they're meeting with people that, so when you plug in, you're actually getting the juice that you're supposed to be getting into those batteries. And that's something we hadn't thought about, but that does fall under measurement standards. So yeah. We have a lab in Sparks that runs all of our fuel testing, even from down south. So we'll bring those samples up and we'll test those. That when you're getting diesel, it's the right diesel, and when you're getting gas and you're paying for the premium, that you're getting premium. Those guys actually have regulations that tell you what the signage must be on your gas station. So, like you said, we're into a lot of things. Measurement standards also does all your scales. So if you're buying bananas at the grocery store by weight, then that is Department of Agriculture. It goes in and tests and makes sure that those scales are right. Same thing if livestock producers are selling their livestock at the ranch, then they have to test those scales and make sure that they're accurate for commerce.
That's cool.
And so that's one division. Another division is plant and plant health. And those guys deal with everything from noxious weeds to pesticides to our native seed. You've probably heard a lot about native seed in recent years, and that's something that program is really taking off. And as we do fire rehabilitation, we really want these Nevada native seeds. We want to make sure we get the right plants in the ground and doing the right thing. And Administrator Ashley Jepson and Deputy Administrator Megan Brown, who a lot of people are familiar with from up around Elko, they're doing a wonderful job on that, and they continue to try to promote that program. And they work with Department of Wildlife, and they work with Conservation and Natural Resource as we do these rehabilitation programs. And then of course the pesticide thing, where it's all about worker safety, and you have to be doing that right, and you have to be applying the right pesticides.
Right.
We also have animal industry, which everybody kind of thinks of agriculture as. Your brand inspectors fall underneath there. The ag police officers, they actually cover all the divisions, but they tend to focus a little bit more on the livestock theft, livestock identification side of things, and respond to emergencies. So we will have those guys out in the field this week, trying to help us look at exactly how many ranches are damaged and what we can do, and looking at infrastructure as we start replacing those. And then we have food and nutrition. That's a really big one. And we have an acting administrator in there right now. Patricia Hope's in there. She's been a deputy administrator for quite a while at the department. She's doing a wonderful job. She's down in Las Vegas office. Currently, that's where her position is, but school lunch, food banks, that kind of thing, or reaching out to our communities. And in a minute, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the work she has done as we get into this flooding as well, working with the food banks, working with our distribution centers and our partners, everything from Catholic Charities to 3 Square to the Food Bank of Northern Nevada, to make sure we have those food products and protein that we can get out to these communities.
That's a perfect spot to take a break, because when we come back, I want you to talk about what you guys are doing to make sure communities have the food they need in this flooding. That'll be really good. So we'll take just a little break and come back with JJ Goichoechea and talk food and nutrition in Nevada on Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerhour, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
We're back on Nevada Newsmakers. I'm Rachel Dahl in for Sam Shad, and we're visiting with JJ Goichoechea, who is the director of Nevada Department of Agriculture. And you guys are hugely involved with food and nutrition across the state, school lunches, but primarily right now, you mentioned some interesting work that you're doing out in these rural communities for the flood.
Yeah, Rachel. So last week we were notified that we had a tribal community down in Yamba that had been cut off, and so then they were able to get some four-wheel drive vehicles out of there. And so Patricia down in Las Vegas, the administrator of food and nutrition, really jumped in and okay, what programs do we have? What do we have available where we can supply commodity and protein and things to our food banks, to our partners to get out to these communities. And we're working really closely with Health and Human Services, with Richard Whitley over there as well. They're worried about it. We have a lot of aging people in some of our rural communities, and I think it's just the start of it. So we are working on that. We have a couple of programs. Home Feeds Nevada is one that we're trying to get back off the ground. We had a couple little snafus with some contracting with it, but that allows in-state producers and processors to sell right to these food banks, and then that food is there, and we're able to push it out to these communities, such as Yamba in this case. But Duckwater was in a little bit of trouble for a while, and I think we're going to see more of these isolated communities over the next 60 days as we see this flooding take off.
Yeah, for sure. I know the Fallon Food Hub runs that basket program, and they've had a hell of a time getting stuck in the mud one day last week. So it's just been something. So the same sort of thing. But you mentioned the contracting. Has that been ironed out with like the Food Hub had some trouble with the grant?
Yeah, so it has been ironed out, and there are no disruptions in that right now. And what we did is we had another program that we could actually administer POs through and not contracts through. And so we are honoring all those, and we are continuing forward on that. We're just using a different pot of money that didn't quite have the same Treasury guidelines on it that our Home Feeds Nevada had on it. And so after the first of the fiscal year, then we'll get back into that Home Feeds Nevada, and we'll start issuing contracts.
Oh, good.
For those people. But there was a little disruption there as we tried to figure it out just for a couple of days on what we need to do. But we have the money, and we have it in another program, and we are honoring those POs, and we're going for it right now.
That's good. Those grant programs seem to be such a good, especially now you're talking the flood, but even before that, in these rural in all communities, food is kind of basic, and you're doing those food access programs that help the local community have access to food, but also help the local producers and make them stronger. And those just seem so important. So I'm glad to hear that that's off and running again. That's really good.
And that's a priority for us. We want to help our Nevada producers and our Nevada processors. And so we want to make sure that the right people are getting those contracts and those POs, and that it's easy and very accessible to them. We don't want a lot of paperwork. The government's great at paperwork. We're great at hoops you have to jump through. So we're trying to simplify that as much as we can.
Good. That's good. So back to the communities. What are there communities other than really rural communities? Like when it was shut down over Donner or Mount Rose and 80 yesterday. So what effect does that have on food supply and access for grocery stores and logistics in general?
Sure. So one of the things we've seen over the winter, Rachel, a couple of times has been eggs. Obviously, we run short on eggs because we can't get them in from other states with our cage-free eggs that by law we have to have in the state of Nevada. And then the other thing that was interesting is milk jugs. We actually ran out of milk jugs in northern Nevada a few weeks ago when Donner was closed down. The plant had milk. They didn't have anything to put it in. And those containers were stuck on the California side. And so they weren't able to bottle any milk for several days while we were waiting for Donner to open. So we start scrambling there, trying to figure out where can we get cartons, where can we get milk, how can we help you? So the supply chain is still pretty fragile. That is concerning, but that's why we're trying to find workarounds and other ways to do it so that we don't end up with shortages like we had in the pandemic at times.
Right. It's amazing. When you got this job, you probably didn't think of these kinds of things.
If you'd have told me I'd have had an hour-long phone call on milk jugs being stuck in California, I would have never believed it. I never even thought about that. So, but the good thing is there's good people at this department, and these guys they want to work, and you just tell them what the mission is, tell them to get out there, and they do it. And we've got some really good administrators, and we've got some really good staff over there. And I'm honored to be here and to be leading this agency, but I'm very lucky that I have the staff that I do that's making it possible.
That's awesome. It really feels like it's a great team right now, and things are very intense for some unexpected reasons, but I feel like as a state, we're in really good hands.
I do too. And people are energized right now, and, we'll get through this. And there's an incident command team here in Eureka, and the last 2 days, they have said that in working in rural Nevada, they've worked all across the country on everything from fire to floods to everything. And they've never seen anything like rural Nevada. And the way these guys continue to work and pull together, there's no grumbling, there's no griping. And that is just Nevada in general. I don't care where they go in the state, they're going to see that exact same thing, because that's the Nevada way, and that's how we do things.
That's awesome. There's no better place to end on that. So thank you. Thanks for coming on today.
You betcha, Rachel. Thanks for having me. Again, thank you for accommodating me, and maybe we can get down there and do it in person at some point.
Right on. Very good. You stay dry over there.
Okay, thanks, Rachel.
All right. Thanks for joining us today on Nevada Newsmakers. I'm Rachel Dahl.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
Thanks for watching and listening to the Nevada Newsmakers. You can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24/7 at nevadanewsmakers.com. See you on the next show.